All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, double honor to the apostle elders, a great millstone, and salutations and greetings to Yakim out there laboring in the faith and doing this work in truth and sincerity. All right, so as the title reads, Israeli troops kill 7 Palestinians, wound 500 amid massive border protests. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play the video.
Well, there are massive protest plans, not just in Gaza, but also across the West Bank as well. Now, this is marking Land Day. It's a day that goes back to 1976. There were demonstrations. 6 Israeli Arabs were killed in clashes with the Israeli security forces over the confiscation of land in the Galilee. But this is being billed by the activists and also by Hamas in Gaza, who've organised that massive protest as the March of Return, 6 weeks of rolling demonstrations that they hope will hit a crescendo in around the middle of May, when the United States is expected to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. I'll just move out of the way and show you the scene here. You can see that there are minor skirmishes going on here with the Israeli security forces. But that big protest, of course, that's taking place in Gaza is the thing that is giving the Israeli security forces the biggest headache. It really, in many ways, represents a change of tactics for Hamas, which has always geared itself around armed resistance with attack tunnels and rockets. At the moment, what appears to be happening is they are trying to mobilize huge numbers of Palestinians to approach the border fence. There are tents along the border fence where they're hoping to stay for the next 6 weeks.
All right, so, you got protests going on in the land of Israel, which is our land, that these Khazar Israelis is occupying right now. And pretty much, they taking over more and more land from those Arabs or Palestinians and also the other darker nations, so they could further claim our land and our heritage. All right. So this is Matthew 24, and I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, what shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? All right, so the disciples was asking Yahushua, what are the signs of your coming? All right, so this is verse 7. Actually, I'll start at verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we're in the time of World War III taking place. The United States, as well as these Israelis, is going against the Iranians, the Syrians, going up against Russia and China, which the Most High is basically setting that up to pretty much bring this man's society down completely. Because that's going to the time of Yahushua redeeming the nation of Israel from the 4 corners of the earth. So that's why all these things is getting ready, is taking place. Okay, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So we're seeing it right now. Nation is rising up against nations, which Esau, the so-called white man, is at the epicenter of that, because, he's pretty much going around pretty much putting hell on these nations, and enlarging his borders in their lands and in their territories. And he's pretty much, trying to seize more land in our territory, which, the Most High is going to put an end to. So this is Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir. And Mount Seir is talking about Esau, the so-called white race, because their original plot of land was on Mount Seir. That was a portion that the Most High gave to them. But, scriptures say that, Esau is a proud man and keepeth not at home, And, Esau can never have enough, even though he's in rulership with his blessing, through the use of the sword right now. He wants to continue to enlarge his territory and his borders all across the world because he never has enough. Okay? It says, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Okay? I will lay thy cities, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Okay? So the Most High is getting ready to, pretty much, destroy this man's system, destroy all of the lands where these Edomites dwell at, all of their chief cities all across the world, especially here in the U.S. And also, the land of Israel has to be pretty much purged with fire as well, because of the pollution that these devils, being over on our land, is going on right now. So that has to be, destroyed, but it's also going to be built back up, It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Alright? So, pretty much we're coming to the point of our iniquity having an end right now. And what's going to happen? 2/3 is going to be cut off and die. So, and how is that? A lot of that is going to take place because Esau is going to shed a lot of, and we're going to basically go on a killing spree, killing a lot of you jakes here in America. Judgment is really going to be taking place throughout the four corners of the earth. Why? Because the time of our salvation of the hopeful elect through Yahweh Shai is near. That's why all these things is taking place, Skipping down to Ezekiel 35, verse 9. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Right. So, once this man is, this man of sin, this man of perdition, Esau, the devil, is put out of rulership, he ain't going to come back into rulership and fill the face of the world with cities anymore, pursuant to Isaiah the 14th chapter, because we about to get ready to be set back in our own land. Okay? It says, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine. Alright? So he already came over to the Americas, and pretty much took down the 10 tribes that was already over here, and then brought us the southern kingdom over to the Americas, and pretty much put us in captivity, and we're in his hand to this day. And pretty much now he's pretty much all the way going back to 1948, when they had that Balfour Declaration into effect. They took over our homeland, which is the land of Israel. Okay? It says, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. Right, because the Most High is making himself known to us, the children of Israel, by putting this truth and the remembrance of him back in us, and at the same time, he's getting ready, as you can see, these prophecies is taking place where he's getting ready to judge Esau and take him completely out of rulership. Okay? So this is Ezekiel 36. I'm going to start at verse 1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, Ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because the enemy hath said against you, Aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Alright? So, these devils is, I mean, hey, scripture say, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, thou that dwellest in the land of Uz. All right, which the land of Uz was originally one of the chief cities of their land and their territory of Mount Seir. But pretty much American could be the new land of Uz, or the new Basra, so to speak. And if you don't know what the land of Uz or the land of Basra is, those were one of the chief cities of these Edomites. It says, therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. And ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people. Alright, so pretty much because Esau is forcing everybody out of that land, that's why all of these protests is getting ready to go on. And that's why all of this controversy is taking place, because they know that these Edomites who's claiming our heritage, being the Jews, which they're not, is pretty much they don't belong in our land. So let me get another precept. This is Isaiah chapter 2, starting at verse 1. The word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Now, pretty much when you go into the word mountains, it can represent a high hill, but also can be parabolic talk for the government, and that government body is going to be the 144,000 which were redeemed from the four corners of the earth. That's going to be that government body that's set up at the top of all the nations' rulership, because that's part of what Yahweh Shai is coming back to do, is pretty much throw down all rulerships and governments of these heathens, starting with Esau. Okay. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord Yahweh from Jerusalem. Alright? So, once Israel is once we're set back in our own land, the real Israelites, which is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and natives, and the Most High, put his law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts, we pretty much going to judge the nations. Pretty much that all of them is going to be made subject unto us. Verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. All right, so that's a prophecy, proving that these fake Jews that's in our land right now are not the real Jews, because if the true Israelites were set in that land, no wars or any of that would be taking place right now. Okay, so this first to bear witness, as far as the prophecies, coming to pass. Okay, so with that, I hope this was edifying, and I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the Apostle Elders, a great millstone, and salutations to you Akim out there laboring in the faith. And with that, pretty much we almost out of here. So, Akim, just examine yourselves, and pretty much stay diligent, and stay prayed up, because our salvation is near. And with that, shalom.